What's up, world? This is your guy, Guitar K, and today we're going to be talking about choosing character over circumstances, man. Look, don't let who's around you or what's going on around you define how you're going to act and be. Let your character be your character, no matter the circumstance. Look, if you're familiar with a compass, no matter what's going on around the compass is always going to be pointing north. That's how you got to be in your character, man. Your character is your compass. So if you get around other people and you start letting that needle go here and there and there, you're always going to find yourself out of character, off the mark. Stick to your true self no matter the circumstances, man. Look, you're out here trying to justify your path and explain your path.
No.
Don't explain it. Just walk it, man. Less talking, more walking. All this people pleasing and approval seeking. Look, that make your character bend and wave to whoever's around you or whatever's going on. And at the end of the day, your character is your foundation. So if your character's switching up when you over here and it's switching back when you over here, you want a shaky foundation, brother. And we know that anything that's built upon a shaky foundation, it's coming down sooner or later, especially when the wind blow or when them waves come rolling in. And in life, the wind always gonna blow. The waves always gonna roll in. We hear it said all the time, man. There's always something going on. But no matter what's going on, you can still stick true to your character. When stuff start going on crazy all around you, don't go with it. Stand firm, stay who you are, man. Look, at the end of the day, man, without a foundation, nothing stands. So you know the saying, you either stand up for something or you fall for anything, man. Your character has to be your foundation. At some point, I had to stop letting the circumstances around me guide my character. You know, when things around me is going this way, now all of a sudden I feel like I gotta go that way. Knowing that I want to go this way. Like I said, your character is your compass. Stick to where you're going and what you're doing, no matter what nobody else is saying, no matter what nobody else is not saying. Look, stick true to yourself. That's the only way you're going to have self-confidence. That's the only way you're going to be approving of yourself. I heard this saying once, man, that I'd rather do the things that I like to do and have the whole world hate me than to be doing all the stuff that the world think I should do and hate myself, man. Look, find a way, find a purpose, find something that's meaningful to you. Practice some self-control, some discipline, living by positive and spiritual principles. You can find the power that's within you. You need to start happening to life. Because so many times we let life happen to us. But when you're standing on what you believe in and you operating within that lane, you can happen to life and stop letting life happen to you, man. Look, build a strong character so that you can stand firm when the things get rough. Because we know things always getting rough. And if you're not rough right along with it, man, you're going to get washed away in the tide. You're going to be like state property, baby. You're going to be laying down all the time, man. We don't need to lay down. When you build up a strong character and build up a strong foundation, you can stand firm no matter what anybody or somebody or nobody or the world is doing around you. Be who you are and say what you are. And do it because that's what you want to be. Not because somebody's listening or you feel like you're going to get applauded for it. Because when you're living like that, when those people's not around, your character not going to stand true. But when you're practicing it consistently, when you got integrity, you're going to always show up as you, no matter how anybody else showing up, man. Take the masks off, man. Look. If you are unsure of your vision and it changes depending upon who you're around or what somebody else say, you're going to be blind to the fact all the time, man. You're going to be needing a new pair of glasses to put on no matter who you around. But when you got your own vision and your own beliefs and you're standing on principles, you're going to always see things a lot more clearly. Look, man, don't let your circumstances dictate your mood or dictate your actions. Look, you're going to always be shaky and wishy-washy and unsettled and full of anxiety and depressed because you're not in control of your own emotions. You're not in control of your own line of action. When you're in control of it, you're going to find yourself less depressed. You're going to find yourself less stressed. You're going to have less anxiety because you're going to be sticking to the plan no matter what's going on around you. And when you know where you're going, you tend to be a little less anxious about it. You tend to be a little less worried about the outcome because you know that you're doing what you need to do to get the best possible outcome at the end of the day. Look. And then at the end of the day, when something do happen, it's not a surprise. Because when you work on a plan, you can see something coming before it even come around that corner, man. But you got to be focused. You got to have your eyes open. Look. Tell yourself when you leave outside that, hey, today I'm going to be dealing with human beings.
Oh, no.
So that means I'm going to have to deal with somebody that's hateful, somebody that's envious, somebody that's ignorant, somebody that's want to be just a straight up enemy. But like the Bible say, man, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. It don't say that they're going to be formed, but it say that if you do what you need to do and you practice in your life the way that you need to be practiced, is no way, no how that any of them weapons is going to prosper, man. Look, you can only control your actions. You can only control your efforts. You can't control what other people be out here doing, so why even try? And why let it stress you out so much? Like I said, have that needle pointing north, and no matter what these fools and clowns doing on around you, you know that you're going north. So it don't matter what nobody do or say at the end of the day. Look, accept what we can't control. Find the power to do what we can do to change what we can change, and there's real power in that. Like I said, you can find power in your discipline, in your self-control. That's where the real strength comes at anyway. Look, life is a training ground. So treat it as such. In order to become good, you got to be practicing. You got to be out here training. You can't be whining and complaining and talking about what and no. Keep going north, no matter what nobody else is doing. Don't even stop to give them the time of day, man. Look, circumstances is temporary. Circumstances come and go. So if your character is going by circumstances, that means your character is temporary. Your character is come and go. Do you know who you are? Do you know where you at? Not if you letting circumstances run how you feel about yourself. You're going to find yourself over here and over there, up and down in the roller coaster of life, man. But when you build your own character and build strong, your character is whatever kind of car you choose it is. You can say, hey, my character is a Lambo and I'm riding in the fast lane today and I'm just speeding past all drama, speeding past all negativity. Find your lane, get in your lane, stay in your lane, man. Don't let this world or other people pull you out of character. Build up your character so that it's strong, so they can fight against, because people are going to try to do it. That's just a given. But when it's strong and you know who you are, you can always stand firm, like I said, no matter what's going on around you, no matter the circumstances, man. Look. Seneca, he was a stoic and he was a slave. And he wrote books about when he was in slavery that it was mind over matter. He couldn't control that he had them chains on him because he couldn't break out of them, but he didn't have to let that make him miserable and make him angry and bitter about life. He found the small things to be grateful for. He found gratitude in, hey, I'm still alive, that one day I may get out of here. And he did get out of there. He became one of the most wisest teachers of how to stay calm and, how to control your character no matter what's going on around you. I used to always make a statement, man, look, I could be just myself, Kawan Parker, doing the things that I like to do in a jail cell or on a beach surrounded by fine honeys. Why? Because I'm grounded in who I am. I'm going to be the same person. When I was in prison, I wasn't miserable. When I was in prison, they used to call me radio because all I was doing was just singing songs and rapping songs back to back. Just like I pretty much do now, man. You find what you can do in a certain situation. Now, could I do everything I wanted to do when I was in prison? Hell no. But I could find the things that I could do and be grateful for them and make the most of it. I didn't let my circumstances change my character. Look, no matter what's going on around you, be like Captain Chesapeake, baby. If you ain't from the Maryland area, you might don't know who that is, but you can Google him and you can look him up. Captain Chesapeake would say, be somebody important. Be yourself. Choose character over circumstances. This is your guy, Guitar K. Be more